I have no doubt that if I continued to drink alcohol, I was going to die. But something changed. Something changed the day that I stopped drinking 8 years ago that made me just get real with myself. It made me drop the lies, drop the stories, alter my beliefs, and live the past 8 years without a single drop. If we've not met yet, my name is Leon Sylvester. I'm the founder of soberclear.com. We're a coaching company that helps business people and professionals get control of their drinking in as little as 48 hours. We've worked with over 500 clients. The program has been scientifically validated. You can read a scientific report that was written by an academic psychologist. If you go to Google Scholar and you search Sober Clear System, you can learn about how it works. And if you go to soberclear.com, you can learn more about the program and you can apply to work with us. So there were 5 ways that alcohol was going to kill me, the 5th being the wake-up call. But the first 4 weren't enough. They weren't enough to actually get me to stop. And it's crazy. When you hear about it, you'll think I was a madman. So the first thing is in my health. Now, when I drank, I wouldn't look after myself. In fact, there has been a period where I drank so much alcohol that I threw up blood on a computer. I've drank so much that I've just totally blacked out in the middle of cities. I've been in some really dangerous places, like in the middle of Colombia, totally blacked out in the middle of Medellin, a really dangerous city. I mean, I put on weight because of my drinking. It was just a disaster. And if I just extrapolate it, right, if I just look forward of where exactly that was going, I'm pretty sure that my health was going to take a turn for the worse within the next 5 years. And I'm only 33. I stopped drinking when I was about 25. So I'd done so much damage to my body by 25 years of age that I was not going to live a long, healthy life. The second way that alcohol was going to kill me is that it killed my relationships. You know, and the harsh thing here is that it killed romantic relationships, but also I think that my family had had enough. They'd had enough of me putting fear in them, just being an idiot. And I think it was going to get to a point where they would just kind of make me suffer consequences. And I'm not saying I was necessarily abandoned, but I'm pretty sure that if I'd kept drinking, eventually they would have just said, do you know what? You're on your own there, pal. That was pretty scary. The third thing is in my financial life. So when I drank, I wouldn't look after my finances. I wouldn't operate very highly. I wouldn't, go out and focus on business and focus on work. No, I was too focused on the short term. So I knew that was going to take a hit as well. In fact, when I finally stopped drinking alcohol, I was borrowing money off my family just so I could pay rent. It's pretty damn sad. And the 4th way alcohol was going to kill me is that I wasn't making any progress. Life was either stagnating, I might make a bit of progress, and then I'd go, 1 step forward, 5 steps back. And I was living my life on this roller coaster, and it was heading nowhere. But the 5th thing, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, is that when I stopped drinking alcohol, there was this moment of revelation. 8 years ago, just under 8 years ago, when I finally stopped, before that, I had a period of my life where I didn't drink for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I can't remember the exact dates, but I had a prolonged period of time without drinking. And during that time, I felt like I was unstoppable. It was the best feeling ever. I still remember it to this day. I remember I was like, I just felt like I could do anything. And I ended up moving back to Oxford to finish my last year of university. I started a personal training business. It was making like $6,000 a month, $7,000 a month. And that was as a full-time student. And I just felt like I could do anything. I felt like I could just run through walls. And then I had this idea that I could control my drinking. I could have just one drink one night and things were going to be different. Long story short, everything spiraled out of control. I lost the business. I lost, everything. Like I had a relationship, I had a Mercedes, I had a business. All of it was gone by the end of it. And I had to get a job in a restaurant, live at my friend's place, borrow money off my family, and I was at ground zero. And you could call this a rock bottom, right? I mean, it could have got a lot worse. I could have had further rock bottoms, but it was enough for me to go, that's it. And I remember I went out the night before and I got incredibly drunk. I stayed up all night. I took drugs. I woke up the next morning at like 4 or 5 p.m. And I remember this clarity hit me. And I realized that version of me that I was when I wasn't drinking alcohol is no longer here. And because I had that period of time without drinking, I knew what I was capable of. I knew that I could do things. I could operate. I could make money. I could start a business. I could be a good person and help people. And I looked down and I remember I could still have this vision in my head of the window that was next to me, the bed that I was in that was in the corner of this room. And I just have this vision. And I remember it was like, you're done. Like you've ruined everything. Everything that you built during that run of sobriety is gone. And it ain't coming back anytime soon. And I wanted the ground to swallow me up. It was the worst feeling ever. But that spurred me into really figuring out why I keep drinking, why these other attempts have all failed, and it led me to where I am today, where I don't want to drink. But that was the moment of clarity that was one of the most painful things I'd ever felt, but it was what spurred me into stopping drinking, finding a solution, breaking it down from first principles. And when I say that alcohol was going to kill me, yeah, it probably would have done. I probably would have died 30, 40 years of age. I don't know. It wasn't looking good. But it wasn't that alcohol was killing. It was, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's the person I am now without alcohol. This is who I was killing. Now, I don't want to come across as superior or anything like that, but there's no way that I could have given so much, because over the past 8 years of not drinking alcohol, over 100 million people have viewed my content on stopping drinking alcohol. I've received thousands of messages from people who have said, the content that I've made has helped them fix their drinking problem forever. I've worked privately with hundreds of clients. And through stopping drinking alcohol, I was able to give a piece of myself to the world. And I was able to help so many people. And if I had just stayed stuck in that cycle, being selfish, thinking about how I can change my feeling and change my state through consuming this drug, that would never have happened. See, when you drink alcohol, yeah, sure, it's going to damage you, but that doesn't really help. Knowing about how it's going to cause cancer and cirrhosis of the liver and mess your brain chemicals up, obviously we need to understand this stuff, but just knowing the physical dangers of drinking alcohol isn't enough. You need to know that there is a version of you that doesn't drink alcohol, that is so happy, so fulfilled, so content with life, so satisfied, and you know that you're just pouring it all on the table. You're going for it. See, when you drink alcohol, that's the version of you that you're killing every single time you take a drink. We think that, it's just a few drinks here and there. We think that a little bit doesn't matter, but, 1 or 2 drinks here, it doesn't count, but it does count. Everything counts. Drinking alcohol is a chain reaction that doesn't end until you say enough is enough. And the thought of getting to my deathbed, knowing that I've drank my life away, it still sends shivers down my spine to this day. And if that doesn't scare you as well, then I don't know what's going to help you. If you don't want to provide the best life you can for your family, you don't want to be the best friend you can be, you don't want to be the best person you can be, the best business person, whatever it is that you do, who you are, if you don't want to max out and just give it your all, then my channel's not for you. I don't want to sound rude, but you might as well keep drinking. But I know that you're meant for more. I know that you're meant for so much. I know there's a version of you that is killing it. They don't drink, they're happy that they don't drink, and you're giving it your all every single day. So just remember this, is that if you're having a tough time, if you're thinking of throwing in the towel, going back to what it was like, don't do it. Because the cost is, sure, the short-term stuff, but the real cost is you're killing the version of you that you know that you can become. Now, if you want to see some of the things that you need to avoid when you stop drinking alcohol, then just click this video on the screen right now.